Welcome back to AniPeeps, the ultimate destination for all things anime and manga related. I'm one of your co-hosts, Boom. Along with me, the boys, Boggs, Benny, and Mighty Mo. Welcome back, boys. How y'all been?
I've been pretty good, but I imagine Mighty doing better, being spending the last 3 weeks in the weeaboo land.
He's in holiday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Holiday's almost done, but been living it up. Still watching my anime. Probably getting more anime than I usually would. So, also grubbing too. So, it's been living.
Yeah.
Be like that. But yeah, I know this season there wasn't as much overlap between the shows we watched, so a lot of things might be, us kind of gushing about shows or complaining about what we didn't like about certain shows. I
Yeah.
think Mighty probably watched the most. So you probably will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but yeah. Um, Aside from like usual, where we watch these shows and after like a big important episode drops, we DM or chat each other up talking about how we felt. I don't think we really did that too much this season. Um, I know there was a few times where I was chatting with Boom and I just said let's just save it for when we
Yeah.
chat on voice.
Mm-hmm.
So a few shows, one in particular, where I really want to kind of get your guys' opinion on how you liked or disliked the show. Pretty excited about that. So
I also feel like one show in particular. I think uh, guessing Mo maybe liked, or I know he definitely finished. That I just absolutely hated. And I just can't wait to get
And I,
into.
and I think I know which one it is. So, I think you mentioned, I think that was one of the few things you mentioned pretty early on of you
Yeah.
saying I dropped it. So,
Drop too
so
many
yeah, we'll
shows.
can get into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably be talking about a few shows, and at the end of this episode, we'll be putting out our top three
Mm-hmm.
for the season.
If you haven't
I
guessed it
think I have
already.
a. I'm pretty sure you guys could guess mine. Mo, I know I talked to you quite a bit about, not quite a bit, but a good amount about one of the shows I have on. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. So
Yeah, and just in case you didn't know, we're talking about summer of 2023 anime and doing a recap about that. Very excited to hear what you guys said about all the shows too. And like Bog said, for me, this was I didn't watch that many shows this season, so I think Mo's gonna be doing heavy lifting. But hopefully, he recommends a show so I can maybe
binge it.
add it to the watch list, the never-ending watch list.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. I think. Oh, sorry to cut you off. I think this season probably was a good time for me to catch up on some older stuff that I wanted to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because this upcoming one, is one I'm really excited about. And yeah, for the viewers, try to look for the Easter egg in this picture. And yeah, sorry to cut you off, Mighty.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say, yeah, this was a good season for you guys to kind of take a break. I mean, I watched a lot, but I think this was pretty mid besides the typical big hitters, especially in terms of like sequels.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even all the ones that are on my top three list are, I don't think they broke seven in terms of rating.
Oh,
Gotcha.
nice,
So,
nice.
a lot of these were just more so of pleasure watches that I went through,
Mm-hmm.
watched for
Yeah.
characters and stuff like that. So,
And of course,
Uh,
big spoiler warning for all the things we're about to talk about as well.
Yeah, well, some of the shows will be going into details,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it or if you don't want to get spoiled, just try to skip to the next section or whatever.
absolute.
And yeah, I guess we could just jump right into it, starting with we could start with
Yeah, I think I
Zom
did. I
100.
think I did find the spoiler or not spoiler Easter egg already. If I'm looking at it
Oh
right.
yeah,
But yeah, I
yeah,
don't want to
don't
spoil it too.
mention
Yeah,
it then.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Absolute. But before that, box, we do have a meme in the day, right? As
yep.
always, which is a classy one. Which is this meme right here. As you grow older,
The
your taste changes, right?
the evolution of every anime fan. Start off with the big three, and then
Dude,
diving into whatever
that is so
little
true though,
niche.
right?
Yeah. It's kind of blurry for me, but if you know what 2019 is showing, then
I
you
know.
deserve to go to hell.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Such an
Um,
evil apple moment right there.
nice.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
Dragon Ball is one I never really watched like the entirety. I think I watched like most of it, but it was
Hmm.
usually when it was playing on TV, I just watch it. Being a manga reader of Dragon Ball, it was just, you know, too way too slow for me. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how it was. That's how anime was back in the day, but times change for the better, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like you were saying, the first show we should talk about is definitely Zom 100.
Yeah, this is one I feel like there was a group of people who were really excited about this,
Hmm.
and some people who didn't maybe know too much about the show, but all it took was for the first episode of this series to kind of, pick up steam on social media, like popular social media pages, and kind of put it on everybody's map,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Um,
It was
so
going against heavy hitters too. Like if you compare to this season, because you had like
yeah,
Bleach,
like
Jujutsu Kaisen, and Mushoku Tensei.
yeah,
Just for
100%. Because like I mean, what like first? I mean, the first episode, uh, was like really good. You kind of have the main character, Akira, doing his like day job, working himself to death,
yeah.
and you really get like the monotone, very like, uh, no color, almost like black and white, dual, like every day living like a dual life.
Hmm.
Pretty much working to death. And most people, once a zombie apocalypse happen, it kind of um, is like a depressing time of their life,
He
fighting for
enjoyed it,
survival kind of
right?
thing. But with him, it's like the complete reverse, kind of shown in this skiff right here. But yeah, I mean, I think the first episode for this really pretty much
Set the
had
tone.
everybody on board. Yeah, set the tone. And then once like this scene where he's kind of happy living his life, just becomes super vibrant, super colorful.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know how do you guys feel about like the
the blood spatter.
like paint, yeah, like the paint style,
I like it
like
in like
paintball.
before we go on that, I love this scene because I don't know if you guys remember when he's screaming, but he's like, "I don't have to go into work today," and he finally
Yeah, like
realizes.
it's like the last thing. It should be the last thing on any sane person's mind. You know,
Yeah.
Everybody probably would be worried about like survival, but
Hmm.
Um, I mean, which kind of goes to show how worked to death and how like mentally tortured he was with where he was working at. Um, but yeah, Mo, how'd you
Yeah.
feel about this one?
Honestly, this I might have told you guys this, but the first episode was great, and then it took about until the fourth episode again for me to really get back into it. I don't know if it was the hype or what, but I kind of was like, now this just feels kind of boring. But I've gotten a lot more into it, more so.
Have
There's
to
your
trust,
chance, Moon.
trust her.
But I really do love the paint aspect though, because it takes away like all the darkness from it, and that's really
Mhm.
like
How he
the
sees the
moment that
world,
the
almost.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it really changed how he sees the world, how much he feels better and free, because that was kind of the whole thing is I feel free, I can see color again and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think it does a great job of like bringing up the mood in the show. So like the zombies are almost just a comedic side factor.
And
Yeah.
like, if I could describe this show in one word, it'd be like just fun. There are some dire moments. Again, we'll be getting into spoilers,
Hmm.
but I don't know which episode it was, but a few examples of some like dire moments is like when he's like kind of climbing the pipes back up to his apartment, and the married couple he was speaking to earlier in the day became
Oh yeah.
zombies.
When he said he's going to
um
like
um,
a combini, right? And so, what do you guys need? And
yeah,
they're freaking out. He's like, "I'm getting beer."
yeah, and like with his co-worker he had a crush on, um becoming a zombie. Same thing
Oh
when they were like trapped in the department store with the
yeah.
three women. So there are some like serious moments in this, but I think they do a really good job of balancing those moments with a lot of like the comedic moments,
Hmm.
example being like his homie, I think like Kenichi or something. His gag is always being like kind of buff and naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Um,
always streaking.
yeah, or like when he jumps across like the building naked and like scenes like that.
Yeah.
I think they do a really good job of kind of balancing the comedic
Yeah.
moments and
Even his like superhero suit too, the
It's
smart
Yeah.
suit that he
OP.
got. Like, I'm glad that wasn't a one-time gag. Like, that came back when we met the German girl and shit.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was
it's
going to be like one time thing because they didn't use it for a while, you know?
Yeah,
mhm.
Like
and
that's
I'm
like
glad we
that's
got
OP too.
Beatrix. I'm glad we got the German girl, the
Uh
weeaboo German girl.
dude, both the
Uh,
girls in the show, top tier, top tier.
yeah, I think the big thing with this, it has been getting cucked with. It has been getting cucked with all the delays.
Yeah.
But that aside, I think it's been really enjoyable
Mhm.
and, like I said, a really fun watch. I was worried in the first episode, um, when he finds out that the coworker he has a crush on has been banging the bosses. It's
So
like, is this
evil.
taking a NTR turn? Like, the boss is like a ugly bastard too.
So I
And
remember I think I texted you, right, Boggs? I was like, yo.
yeah, and
this dude's a creep.
yeah, and then next thing I know, I'm on Twitter, and then I see like a NTR fan art, and I was like, oh god, I hope this isn't where things are going. But
I don't know about you guys, but I really felt like the opposite of Mo's opinion, right? Where I thought it was really good in the beginning, but like the last couple episodes, it just feels like I don't know. I'm not into it as much as the beginning half for sure. Maybe the ending to switch it around for the first season, but I didn't feel as eager to watch the last two episodes. I did like the German girl though; she was OP, but
yeah, to your point, this is one of the shows where it's not like I was in any hurry to watch every week. There is one particular show this season where when the episode dropped, I was like super excited and eager to watch it as soon as possible. This wasn't one of them, but every time I watch it, I had a fun time watching,
mhm.
and I think that kind of ties into what I was talking about when I said like Zom was always at least a fun watch.
Yeah, for sure. And animation was on point. It was
Oh
really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, I think, is Bug Films, but I think this is like their big first project. I don't know if this is their like first anime or their first like anime project they're taking over, but
Yeah.
aside from the delays, like there's zero complaints as a viewer. So
That is true. So next show, I guess we can get into. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys didn't watch it, but definitely I think a crowd favorite, right? The epic walk scene I was talking about earlier, boys.
oh yeah, I have seen this, not the
Jujutsu
show,
Kaisen,
but
man.
this.
Have you guys didn't watch it, right?
No, I
Uh,
haven't.
I guess I'll keep it short, but I'm not the biggest fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, but this season definitely smacked. I think because it's like this one's like it's like half a season almost, right? Because it's gonna go into next season as well, and the this arc is supposed to be like the best arc of Jujutsu Kaisen, so I'm really hyped for it. Other than that, it was like all right. Like if you're a Gojo fan, it was really good season, but if you're not, it's like it's all right. You get epic scenes like this walk. So many memes made from this walk, but other than that, it was for me. It was like a mid season for this one for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just something that's kind of unavoidable with like longer shonen series because it can't always be top tier. There's ups and downs with like some of these longer shonen, or not even shonen, but long shows in general. But
Yeah, you can see you can tell it's setting it up for like a really really good I think next half of the season
gotcha.
with the Shibuya arc is as it's called I guess. But yeah. I guess for Jujutsu Kaisen that's all I had to say. But any other shows you're gonna jump into right now, boys?
Um,
Or can
I
I
mean,
just
I
make it?
guess
I
yeah,
got
you could go for it.
it's the legendary show. Uh,
So did you finish this one?
yeah, actually, I heard this show got an award, Mo.
Did it really?
Oh man.
The biggest flop
Uh,
award.
Dog, so this is like my first like nonsense isekai that I've ever seen, and I mean the main thing that kept me watching this was like, what are they gonna do next? Like, how's what is this vending machine gonna do? I mean, just to give you an idea of how it works, was basically he has the guy who died was a vending machine otaku, so he knows like all kinds of things about all kinds of vending machines, and he basically he has life points, and when people give him money, that ups his life points, and then with his life points, he can upgrade his stock, change his stock, and then also transform into different types of vending machines. So as different things happen, like there's one scene where like they needed to fill a bath, so he turned into like a water vending machine and then filled the bath. But I mean, I will agree it was kind of stupid, but at the same time, I liked the characters. It was like a just nice, fun, lighthearted series. Um,
I was so hyped
hey,
for this. I was so hyped for this, man. For some reason, I
it's
was.
just always one of those where it's like he's pretty helpless, but at the end of the day, he was still always the hero, which was kind of funny. 'Cause he had like an invincible barrier that he could block stuff with, and then like I mean the part where I almost stopped was like they were getting chased by a monster or something, and how he
the,
defeated it
the
was
Mentos, right?
yeah, the Mentos. He turned into dispensed a bunch of colas and then turned into a Mentos machine and dispensed a bunch of Mentos. And then I guess the huge thing is he can't communicate with them. All he has is the generic dialogue of a vending machine. And so like the girl who originally finds him kind of figures out that he's sentient and can get yes no answers from him, but like in that scene when he's like trying to get them to put the cola in the Mentos, it's just like there's no way that people from another world would even be able to fathom that. So it's just there was just some of those things that were like, this is pretty fucking stupid. But
Good stupid or bad stupid?
Bad.
that part was bad stupid. But that was probably the worst of the series. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that was worse than that. So
I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah,
it
I
just
mean,
sounds like another kind of stupid fun isekai.
yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed it. The other characters were really good. That's one thing I will say. Is the whole cast overall was really good. I enjoyed all the characters. They had a lot of like cute animal characters and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
So that aspect I enjoyed. It how it ended. It feels like there may be a second season. So I'll probably watch that if it comes out. But
I feel like you're
uh,
committed now too, right? You already finished one season, and it was kind of
mhm,
mid, so you have to watch a second season. It's a
yeah.
must. It's a must. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if I could recommend you anything, it would be to cut your losses short and just quit now. Which will kind of be my segue into Rent a Girlfriend.
dun
If
dun dun.
you have nothing else to talk about the vending machine show,
Yeah, we're
Dude,
good.
why
um,
you hating, my man? It was good. It was good.
well, like I've said to you guys, Rent a Girlfriend is a love hate relationship I have with it. This is certainly better than the second season. So the fact that I'm still going probably means when season 4 comes out, I will also be watching, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I still like season 1 the best. This one was good just because, Yamori came out, this girl right here, a new waifu added to the group of harem. But I mean, like, honestly, I don't really care about this season went a bit more to the, I guess, poignant side. They're talking about like pretty much a season consisted of Kazuya trying to get Chizuru to star in like a
The
low
movie.
budget film. Yeah. And like the scenes where Kazuya is actually like having some sort of character development, I guess, where he kind of steps it up as a producer and gets a job done. Like, I just don't like the character, don't care for him. So like those character development does nothing for me. I really don't care too much about like Chizuru and her grandma, even though like
Dang.
the hospital scene did kind of hit. It just, if it was a different show, it probably would have been a scene where I would have been tearing up. This one, I was like, oh, this sad, but it,
Bogs.
yeah, I don't know.
Bogs.
Yeah,
But
but
all the girls in the show, wifey material, man. I love all the character designs.
I
All
mean,
the
that's why I watch it.
it's, you know.
Positive of the show again was the new girl, and Sumi had a bit more camera time or
Mhm.
screen time.
Mhm.
I think my big complaint about this, maybe the big reason why I didn't like this season too much, is because Ruka was just getting like the short straw, or
Yeah, I
however
don't.
the saying goes.
I don't like how they're trying to like almost not cut her out, but they're just trying to. She's
It
always
just
like the annoying type now. You know what I mean?
it's yeah, it's just
Because
like,
she's really.
okay,
I really like her as a character. She's not like
I
my
just feel
favorite,
bad.
but yeah.
Like I know people shit on her a lot in comments and stuff like that, but it's kind of like she is dating Kazuya, like she is
I know.
his
I know.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
and there's a clear motive where the main ship is Kazuya and Chizuru, which I get that,
Hmm.
but it's kind of like knowing Ruka's getting the shaft. She's being done dirty. Like there's like a scene where, or like an episode where Chizuru and Kaguya just, or not Kaguya, Kazuya just goes to, like Shinkansen to a different place. They spend the night somewhere where Ruka was supposed to go to, but she doesn't. And then when he comes back, Ruka's pissed for obvious reason and asks for him to like dedicate a whole day to her. And
Hmm.
Kazuya kind of doesn't want to. I'm like, bro, like,
And she's low key like best like personality too, right?
yeah, like Ruka wanted to wanted to help Chizuru despite
Hmm.
being like a uh, bad guy towards a relationship, like a homewrecker, whatever. Kazuya has obvious romantic interest to her, but it's just like a lot of those things where it's a little too unrealistic and kind of, I don't know. And another complaint which happens so much in this show, like probably every episode where Kazuya is with either, Chizuru, Sumi, or Ruka, or whoever, and he's walking with the girl, and people in the background, when they walk past, they're like, "Oh my god, that girl's so
Yeah.
hot." It's like it happens every time where, they're walking, the background character's like, "Oh my god, did you see her? She's so hot." I'm like,
And it's
dude,
always him like talking in his head or something, right? Where it's like
yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, people wouldn't be speaking that loud. And like, you don't have to do this every episode to, kind of show
right.
the audience that
They always say
there's a clear discrepancy between the two,
they
as
hit
like partners.
they hit him with the
But
その子めっちゃ可愛いね.
yeah, yeah, I'm just like, you guys do this every episode, and I'm getting like sick of it.
I do like
And
the character designs of all the girls. Like even the new one, this one on the screen right now, her character design I really really like. Like the blue.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the show is elite with character designs and the girls. If the
it's just
guy was a little bit different, if it was like Quint's main character, it'd be a top tier show.
exactly. And just how passionate I was about my rant kind of goes to show how I hate this series, but also like it. I'm just pretty mad that Ruka just gets the short end of the stick all the time, and she didn't really get too much screen time. But I
Hmm.
mean, this season was, like I said, better than the previous season, but I still think the first one was the best. And season 4, I'll probably be watching again, but um, yeah, and it's just like, I don't mind the Chizuru Kazuya ship, which is fine, but it still bugs me that Kazuya is still paying top dollar to rent her out at times. I'm like, are you
I
guys
don't I
not
don't I
beyond
don't
that point?
I don't
Like,
get that either.
and that kind of makes me despise Chizuru too. It's kind of like, why are you taking his money? Unless manga readers might know if there is like a motive where like maybe she has this money put to the side or something. But I mean,
Hmm.
from her perspective, she is just doing her job. but it's kind of like, it's just taking money from him still after like, especially after like him helping her get a movie produced and having
Yeah.
her kind of fulfill her dream of being an actress for her grandma. It's kind of like, come on.
And but I don't want to paint the narrative that I don't like the show. The show is still good in my opinion, right? I know you might not
Mhm.
like it, but I know we haven't been doing this, but we should for the next couple shows. Like for me, I rated this season a 7, which is good in my opinion, right? But the whole Rent a Girlfriend show, I still think it's not top elite, but it's still a really good series too. Just
I mean, I
because
put it at like a 6 or like 6, maybe 7, maybe 5, who knows, but
just cause the girls, man. I mean
Yeah.
this this show, man.
I mean, I agree with you
It's
there.
hard though.
Like,
It's hard, you know, because like everything you were saying is true, right? But
I mean, dude,
it's
I
hard.
mean,
It's hard.
that's like the selling point because uh, I mean, it might be a hot take, but I actually like Mommy a lot too. So
Ah, ah,
yeah,
ah.
uh, so yeah, let's just end Rent a Girlfriend there.
Yeah.
On to the
Yeah.
next.
I mean, keeping on the track of good but trash, Liar Liar, man, is one that I was heavily conflicted on.
I
Um,
heard I heard mixed reviews of this one too.
it really piqued my interest because of like the whole psychological like game concept. Like
Mhm.
basically they have an academy island and like people are given ranks and stars and they battle each other in all kinds of different games. But like the games were just so it was a typical show where the MC just defied so much logic. Like there were so many times where they were literally just cheating and so he would be able to win
Hmm.
and like it just detracted from the story. Like it made the story kind of meaningless. He just kept was slowly collecting a harem of girls who would help him cheat throughout the show, and then like they would bicker amongst each other of like, oh, I'm the best helper, no, I'm the best helper, and shit like that. And the character designs are top tier. I absolutely love the characters. MC's pretty dope. He's a Chad, but it's just like the story just didn't do it for me, and like the second half of it just felt so rushed. It was like a uh island wide battle and it finished within like 4 episodes. It was just like they
Was it
jammed so much into.
is your complaint more of like the games weren't like fun or like coherent where kind of, as a viewer you could kind of figure out the loopholes alongside the main character, or they were just like, oh, behind the scenes this was happening, that's why we were
No,
able to beat
yeah,
the game kind
it's
of thing.
yeah, the character you couldn't like it's like you there's no way you would have known. It was literally everything was always left field where he was like, haha, like for example, it was like, oh, I messed with your screen so you thought you had one more move, but you actually didn't. It's like
Oh
it was
man.
just a bunch of stuff like that where it's like,
Yeah.
come on, like it's literally cheating. It's not there was a few where he did outsmart them. It was like one of them where like he used the power to change the rules of the game so that if you the rule of the game was like the person with the last card wins, but he changed the rules so that the person with the last card loses. Like that was probably the only one where it was like okay, but even then, like
Even
he
then
still
it kind of sounds like just
he changed
literally.
the rules, but the rule didn't change for the person he was playing against on their screen. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it was a whole lot of that. Just the characters were top tier, man. I love the characters, the character designs, their voices, everything about them were great.
And I
But
feel like this is like
story
one
was
of the
trash.
shows you were kind of hyped for too, right? Before
Yeah,
the season.
yeah. So I think
Uh,
maybe I was a little expecting too much, like it being titled like a harem etchy. I should have kind of figured that the
mhm.
story will be lacking, but I don't
You
know.
know,
Season two's gonna be happening for sure. So
you know what this sounds like? This sounds like the Cope anime series to watch for No Game No Life fans who never got a season 2. They're now stooping down to Liar Liar.
this was a garbage version of No Game No Life, man.
Yeah.
Just as good of characters, but story was not nearly as interesting.
See,
Sorry.
what would you rate this in your mouth?
I mean, I gave it a 6. just because the characters really did carry.
Mm.
It wasn't. I mean, I feel like a 5 is too harsh for most things. I
Yeah.
don't think I've given men anything like I know Boggs has mentioned this a lot too. I might need to, go back and really just spread out my scoring because it's
Hmm.
concentrated in the 6, 7, 8s.
Yeah.
But it it's gonna be a 6 or I drop it for me. So,
I
and I
get
don't
you.
tend to drop things. I like to stick it through. So
Whoa.
Fair, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
that's why I
So
ended up
Liar
watching
Liar
10
is
series
one.
this series, man.
Also,
So
side
yeah,
note,
this is
just to mention, I did drop this show. Just to let y'all know. Big drop. Ep-
disclaimer.
Episode like 3. It was right after the Mentos cave. Mighty Mo.
No, that's
Mentos moment was
Yeah,
whack.
I was done
too
after that.
weak.
Yeah. Speaking of like psychological shows, right? Boggs, you wanna start talking about Undead?
Oh yeah.
I was
So
shocked. I didn't think anybody else would watch this, dude. I thought it flew under
oh
the radar.
no. This. I mean, yeah, this is one I talked to Mo a few times about. Earlier when I talked about the show where every week I was very eager to watch, it was this.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly being kind of like a uh fantasy mystery, like I guess detective show.
And I liked how he
It's
like had real, like, like I guess not real, but like as Sherlock
yeah, like
Holmes and stuff like
real
that.
life inspired characters.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad you
like when they
watched.
do that.
I'm glad you watched this because I was gonna ask. Like not the bad guy, but Lupin was on there. Like, you know what I mean? Is that
Yeah,
is that from like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Japanese?
yeah. So
Because I
they
was like
have a lot
so
of
always
real
yeah.
because Lupin is like a real, I don't know, like fictional or real, but it's like in like I guess history or
Oh, okay,
fiction or
okay.
not. So yeah, like you said, there's like Sherlock Holmes, there's Lupin, Carmilla the vampire,
Mm-hmm.
Aleister Crowley, yada yada. But yeah, I mean, this is like a detective show, and
High pace
pretty
too,
much
which I loved.
yeah, and kind of like back to being super eager to watch it. Just being a detective show, you tend to end on, I guess, cliffhangers a lot. And you're kind of like really eager to like find out what happened, how they're gonna solve it, kind of thing. One thing I really appreciated about this show, kind of ties into what we were talking a little bit about Liar Liar. This is one where if you really wanted to, you could either think on your own or maybe go to like a blog post and kind of discuss with the community of
Mm-hmm.
who is what happened. They leave enough clues for like the viewer to actually solve this puzzle with these characters,
Like
which some shows fail at doing.
like it has a good talking point. Like, do you remember like the diamond scene where he had it all along, or he tricked it?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? I watched it twice because I was still confused.
yeah.
I was
He
like, what happened?
when he got it from Jack the Ripper, right?
Yeah, yeah. I like how they have him too, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's such a good. I really didn't. And this was like for me the only reason why I watched it was I needed a show to watch when I was in the gym, right? When I was cycling. And this
Hmm.
was the only like this was besides the other ones I was watching, the only one I started mid season, only one on Japanese Netflix I can just download on my phone, right?
Oh, gotcha,
And I
gotcha.
seen it, I
So,
was one episode
y-
hooked right after.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is one I stumbled upon randomly.
Mm-hmm.
When the new shows were coming out, uh, like it said, Undead Girl Murder Farce was out, so I watched the first episode, and yeah, I was just like immediately hooked. And from then on, every Wednesday I'd watch it. Um, and yeah, I mean, for me, I think the part I liked best about this show was the interaction between Tsugaru and Aya, these two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess before we go a little bit more into depth, this is a detective show, which does have some fantasy element into it. It's might be a little bit hard to tell, but you could tell here Aya, the lady in the birdcage, she's just a decapitated head. She's an immortal who lost her body to Moriarty, and the guy on the right, Tsugare, he is half Oni, half devil, who also has some kind of past with Moriarty. They kind of pair up to kind of solve these mysteries along the way of kind of slowly getting um, towards each other's goal of,
Yeah.
I guess, Aya getting her body back.
I'm
But
so glad Sherlock Holmes is in this because I don't know if you watched any of the movies or something like that, but like when I was watching it before he was introduced, I was like, dude, this is like Sherlock Holmes. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like, do you remember the scene where he's fighting a certain I forgot his name. What was it? Oh, I think it was Lupin. He was fighting Lupin in the very beginning, and then he lost, right? But then the head lady was like, "Oh, I made him purposely lose," right? It was just
yeah, yeah. I know what scene, like outside, right?
yeah, it's like
And
just thinking
that's
2 steps ahead. It's crazy.
yeah, and that's really why I like this show a lot. Is Aya and Sugata's understanding of each other. You got the approval apple there on the top, but yeah, like
Makes you think.
Sugata,
It makes you think, man.
I know, and like Sugata is always like a goofy character, but he's also really OP. And his name's Shinichi, which is kind of a rank for uh fuck, I forgot what it's called, Rakugo. And he does bring up like Rakugo stories a lot in this story too, which is done in a really good way. But the banter between the two is what I really enjoyed mostly. The back and forth between the two, it really reminded me a lot of like Fruits Basket, where the dialogue between the two is pretty witty and clever. And um and of course also like the main, I guess, mystery aspect to it, which would last like what, Boom, like 4 episodes or something,
Yeah, I was
three to
yeah.
four episodes.
And this is a show like I feel like non-anime, like people who like anime can watch too,
Hmm.
because it's just mystery, detective, right? It's such a good show. I was shocked,
Yeah,
dude. I'm so glad I stumbled upon it, and I wasn't gonna mention it on today because I didn't think any of you guys watched it, and for sure it's just way too detailed of a show to just talk about it. So I'm glad you brought it up. Great
yeah,
show.
and this was like it was very unique in how like the animation was. It's kind of hard to explain, but
It, it felt like
kind of
like a
reminded me of like Monogatari in a way.
dude.
Um,
It made it feel like it's like a
a play.
non-Japanese anime. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a foreign, like the way it was animated. I know it was the setting was in like London or Europe or something like that, right?
Mhm.
But it just felt like it was different than everything else. I don't know how to describe it, but
Yeah, and the opening was a banger. Loved all the characters in this show, and the final 4 episodes with like the werewolf and stuff like that.
hmm
That final mystery was a pretty big mind fuck. Like going into like the last episode reveal, I kind of understood bits and pieces, but I couldn't like tie everything together of how the actual um crime happened took place, but they explained it well. And
it's like
yeah,
a classic.
just a great mystery.
It's a
Just a great
classic
mystery.
detective thing, right? It
Yeah,
happens, and then next episode they explain everything.
yeah.
It's kind of like Ocean's
So
11 and stuff. They,
yeah, big thumbs up for me on this one. I enjoyed this
I'm
one a
glad you
lot.
liked it, Big Dog. This definitely deserves a cheers, right? Both
Thank you, mate.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Mighty Death Watch, please.
No, yeah, I was definitely. I remember speaking with Boggs about it. I think around the fourth episode or so, and I mean he was giving good praise to it. I just totally forgot about it. Honestly, like you said, like this one just really went under the radar. I think because of the air date, Wednesday. It's kind of a weird one.
hmm
I'm not looking at anime at that time. I'm usually checking around the weekends. So by then, it's already been pushed down to, the bottom of the trending or recommended list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
for sure.
maybe it's that. But yeah, I mean, during this off season, off time, I might have to check this one out because I do
yeah.
love those detective shows.
Detective. Yeah, it's really well done, and one of those where it's kind of not like Liar Liar, where, oh, but this was happening in the back scene, so there's no way as a viewer you could have seen this coming, kind of thing. So yeah, definitely would recommend, and once you do, we could talk about it as well. So
Absolute. Um,
Oh yeah.
what did you rate it, Boggs? I
I
rated
think,
personally like an 8, like eight, 7 for me.
yeah, I gave it a solid 8. I enjoyed this series a lot.
I'm trying to be more harsh with my ratings, man.
No,
Can't
I
I
get
can't
that.
give
I get that.
everything eights, nines, you know. But yeah, great show. Recommend for sure. Next show I didn't personally watch, but I've heard some great things about it. It's Helk.
Oh, Hulk.
Helk.
Elk. Yeah, I
The
mean we can just kind of gloss over
He-Man
this
of the
one.
anime industry.
Yeah, we could gloss over this, like Mighty said, because only half of it's done,
Oh really?
and I'm not even caught up to the current. But I mean, what you feel about this one, Mo?
The It was very slow for me in the beginning. I almost considered dropping it within the first like 3 episodes. But after the fourth episode, when like the humans start attacking and shit like that, then it's like, oh shit, there's more to this. And actually, the most recent episode left on a like pretty fat cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel pretty heavily invested now. But I mean, I chose this gift because Vermilio's kind of the main reason I kept watching this show. I like her character a lot. Like I think she's probably one of the best tsunderes from this season. So how did you feel?
I mean, I agree with you. I actually liked the first earlier episodes.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it was like the second or third episode is like kind of alluding to like a deeper mystery towards Hulk, and
Mhm.
then they kind of didn't really touch upon it yet, at least where I'm at right now. But yeah, I mean, a human, pretty much OP He-Man, a human, pretty much living in the demon's realm, who is pro demon. He hates humans and kind of trying to join the demon force. Kind of interested in like the premise of it and watch it. I wasn't like sold immediately. Almost same as you. Like after watching it, it grew on me. I wouldn't say I love this series at all, but I mean, I have a buddy who swears by the manga. He was kind of disappointed in the anime adaptation of it, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't hate this at all. I think it is a fun watch. I love Hulk the character. I think he's hilarious of being like he's like pretty goofy and
Yeah, he's a
also
Chad,
very
man.
OP, you know.
Just the way you guys are describing it, it reminds me of last season's. I forgot the name, but the macho guy that has no magic power. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, Mashal.
Macho.
Can't say because I didn't watch that, but I mean I
No,
could see. No,
it
yeah, I
is
don't
pretty
know.
gaggy though. This
It
show is pretty gaggy.
Oh,
I
Macho
would say
was
it's
too.
closer to like One Punch Man
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
in
Uh,
that sense. Like he's that kind of OP, and then the story starts to slowly get serious as they reveal a lot of secrets and stuff. I mean, One Punch Man, it's not so much about him, but their world around him. Whereas in this one, I mean, you're learning more so about the secrets of Hulk and like the
mm,
human race. So, yeah, it's definitely piqued my interest, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish it for sure.
And one thing about Hulk too, it's kind of like very lighthearted mood throughout the series, but then there's like some of these serious moments, slight spoilers, but when the human he knew with like the wings, kind of like the next evolution guy, like he dies. Um, there's like some moments where it's kind of like, oh shit, there. I forget there is like some serious aspects of this show. It's not all kind of comedy, like gag humor,
mm-hmm.
but uh, I mean, I will catch up and I will continue watching into this upcoming season. Hopefully, it ends on a good note. But aside from that, I don't really have too much to talk about Hulk.
I got you. And I won't ask for ratings, obviously, because it's not finished yet, right?
Hmm.
Anything else before I move on, boys?
Not
No?
for me.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quick about this one. I don't know if you guys watched it. For me personally, not a big fan of the reboot or remake.
Ah, yes.
I don't
I'm glad
know.
you brought this up because
I
I was
don't
gonna
know.
bring this one up next too. But
I don't know if anybody
I,
watched it, but I dropped that joint after first episode. Man, it's not the same. It's not
I
the
didn't
same.
watch this one.
dude, so I mean, I never watched the original, but
Mm,
I've also kept watching this one. I think I watched up to episode 10 or 11,
no.
but it feels much more gaggy than I thought it would. It doesn't take on such
Um,
a serious tone. Like it feels very like childish, especially the main character girl. What's her name?
I'm bad with names.
Kaoru.
Uh,
Like she she almost like just ruins the tone throughout the show with like her gags
what I can
because
tell you,
she's kind
like,
of a tsundere too. So,
mhm.
but sorry, what were you gonna say?
Like I can like the original was kind of the same way. There is a lot of comedy aspects of it too, but just for me
Mhm.
personally, like I don't like when they do this, like the reboots and stuff. Uh, like I just the look of the old one, it's right because it's old school animation. I feel like that's why it makes it so good. You know what I mean? There was no point of rebooting this for me personally. That's why after I was
Yeah,
like, I really like the character and I like the show, so let me watch it. And then when I watched the first episode, I was like, oh, dude, it's it for me, man. It's it.
yeah, and I mean, knowing nothing about Rurouni Kenshin,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care to know more.
Oh,
That's
cool.
that's how that's the impression this show has given me. Like, I'm just not that interested. Like, I don't really understand what's going on. Like, I know this isn't a sequel or anything, right? This is an adaptation of the original,
Yes.
but how it starts and how the story's progressing is it feels like you should already know the story and the characters. Like it feels like a sequel to me.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why I haven't been able to get into it.
Mm-hmm. Because it is a big franchise. I feel right. Everyone knows
Mhm.
who he is. I feel like not that many people talk about it. The show, though, they just know it's a good show, like the old one.
Yeah. I think you know the characters. Same with like Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Inuyasha, but I mean I don't know how many people have actually even seen the entire series, you know. I think everybody's seen up to the infamous spider titties. But other than that,
For me, like this was like legit one of my first anime ever too. It was this, and then I remember my brother was watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and I didn't like Yu
mm,
Yu Hakusho at the time. I was just watching this one. And I liked the X on his face, man. As a little boy, that was badass.
yeah.
And I don't like the.
I,
I think it's the same voice actor. I'm pretty sure that's what I seen online, but I was like, oh, I did like how they use the same opening too, but I was like, not the same, not the same.
Oh, yeah, the only reason I've kept watching is because the voice actor for Kaoru is the same as Amelia.
Oh, really?
So I really enjoy her voice, yeah. Amelia, Megumin, Takagi, Sumi, all of them. So good voice, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
top
I don't
tier
know.
Takashi DA,
Yeah.
top tier DA.
For me, I definitely
Mm.
dropped this first episode. I know this was gonna be a quick one, so I just moved past it. I didn't think anybody else watched it. That's why, but I'm glad you at least watched it, Mo. Give a little
Yeah,
more
yeah,
insight.
I think I'll have to end up dropping it though. It's just I've been watching it just when I'm bored, but every
Mhm.
time it's like it feels like a chore watching it.
I,
Doing something else on my phone while I'm watching it. I'm probably not giving it
You're
the
not
respect it
immersed.
deserves. Yeah, definitely not, man.
yeah, you might as well drop it because then if it's a chore to watch it, you're just gonna hate it no matter what.
You're
Even if it's good, you're like in your mind, it's a crap
gonna
show.
start despising it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Uh,
Updating my Mal right now.
Another not so good show I'm gonna put on right now. My tiny senpai.
Ooh. Dude, I enjoyed this is like one of those guilty pleasures, man.
I,
I
I
enjoyed this one a lot.
I know for sure I talked about this show with Boggs in the very beginning. Boggs, I don't know if you remember. I was like
I do.
this type of show I've seen the best. So everything else is crap.
Mm.
That's
She's cute though,
it
man.
is relatable.
What made you drop it?
For me, right?
Like you said, she's seen better.
Yeah, like I literally before the season started, I watched the show. I forgot the name. Do you remember it, Boggs?
My senpai is annoying.
Yeah, is it?
Something like that, right?
It's like with
My
the
tiny
green.
senpai is annoying.
Yeah, it's with the green hair chick. That
Yeah,
show
yeah.
is 10 times better than this show. And then when I watched this show, the character design fire, right? I was like, okay, another
Mm.
one of these. And then I was like, uh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah. For me, it's just I kept going back just because I really like the side characters, like her.
Mm-hmm.
I think her name was Hasegawa. Her and the manager's relationship. I like that one a lot, and she was a very cute character. Like in this scene right here, like she's an otaku and she was cosplaying, and then she just so happened to run into the manager, and then like the manager always like he's like a smooth talker, so even though he probably doesn't intentionally mean it, like he's really like complimenting her and like always
It's
making her flustered and stuff. So I loved like all the characters around. So I was the main character was kind of a bitch, which is kind of classic in this, but
I
I
really
didn't like how they ended it though. They
uh,
ended it with like them. So there's a scene before where they're on the classic rooftop scene, but before he's able to kind of confess to her, she says like, "Let's continue being a great like senpai kohai."
mhm.
And then so that was like he realized. Then later on, the company's making a visual novel based on the company character, and he does that exact thing, and the other person who's kind of with them watching the game is like, we got rejected before we could confess. And then so she realized what she did to him, and then I thought it was going to lead to them confessing and then getting together, but it turned into, oh, like now we can become friends. And so I was like, fuck, man, this is like
Yeah.
ultra slow pace. So I mean, I can definitely understand where you it'd be predictable because it was fairly predictable. But I mean, I just love the character designs,
Oh
man.
yeah, I mean
No, the
predictability
character's
isn't a
fire.
big issues. Yeah, predictability, being able to predict things for like these kind of shows, I don't think is that big of a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Or like
I mean,
Boggs, do you remember a couple seasons ago when I recommended like the like the fire or weather romance office show?
yeah, the cool girl or something. Yeah,
Cool
yeah,
guy, right? But it reminded me of this that like you remember I liked it in the beginning and then it just
yeah.
faded out.
Slowly, yeah,
I
yeah.
had a feeling about like the character design, like Mo said, was fire, right? It was
Hmm.
really really good. I even like the main character, like she's like tiny, right? But for me, I just felt like I was not gonna like it, and from what Mo was telling me, I made a good choice. Um,
I don't know, man. I mean, there was some good scenes. Like some stuff I thought was different was like
I mean, the character
they would
design
have
was
like they would have like kind of like lewd thoughts about each other separately. Like it was clear that they liked each other the whole time. Stuff like that. Their little interactions and like the misunderstanding of each other's words and actions. I don't know. I think you should go and you should
I
give it
mean,
a shot, man.
the first episode they had lewd thoughts about each other, right?
Did they?
I think so, like, cause she was saying how tiny she was, but she's senpai.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's refreshing.
Can't remember honestly,
Yeah, but
but
I think I watched like three, maybe four episodes, and I was like, ah. And I remember I told
yeah.
Boggs, I was like, once you see the best, everything else won't do, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess alluding to my top list has already been out here. This is how you know the season was mid because this is my favorite.
Oh god,
Ah! Ah!
man, I wouldn't call it a terrible season. There's some good ones.
Um,
Um,
one that's not really I guess a season, but I think it's considered an OVA, right? Boggs.
Yeah, we could jump into OVAs and ONAs. So yeah, we could talk about
Oh my
Quince
gosh.
first.
Yes, sir.
So this was a 2 episode OVA of course, quintessential quintuplets.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I love this series. I love the OVA. First episode centered around Miku and Nino, the two best, which was amazing. Second one
One
was
of
good
them's the
too.
best. One of them's the best. Not Nino, but Miku's definitely the best for sure.
They're top two, but yeah, I
Ah,
agree. Miku is the best.
she's definitely
Nino
top
is
five.
a good second,
Nino's top five for sure.
100%. But yeah, I mean, I loved the first episode. Second episode was good too. It got into kind of Yotsuba and Futaro's backstory. Um, and there's some other stuff with the entire cast, but it was more Yotsuba centric. I personally enjoyed more the Miku and Nino one, but didn't really add too much to the show, which doesn't matter because at least in the anime, the conclusion already happened with the movie. So
Mhm.
I'm just glad for anime viewers they got some more content, which
It's
was
so
skipped
good.
in the mangas. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Studio Shaft did a great job with this. Visually, it was amazing, and just seeing, the five amazing quintuplets back on the screen was just yeah, can't have any complaints with that.
Big
Totally enjoy
ones.
this one.
Big ones.
Yep.
I mean, I seen like in Japan, it was in theaters too. I wish I could see this in theaters. Just like I think I watched it with you, Boggs, like the movie.
Yeah,
It,
we did.
it's
We did.
oh my gosh. Mighty Mo, if you haven't watched this series, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Fire
This is
series.
another one I'm hesitant. I've been hesitant to start, man. Like just the fact that I never continued Rent a
Huh?
Girlfriend from season
This is
one. Like
this
I
is
don't want to start it in a way.
You're watching Tiny
please
Senpai, not
please
Quince.
please do not compare this to Rent a Girlfriend. This is a
Yeah,
this
it's
is a
tears.
god
It's
tier
tears
harem
levels.
anime.
It's I remember I was so skeptical. Like I never like exactly like the meme of the day. I was very skeptical looking at the title of this. I remember I was joking around saying, "Oh, look at this." And then when I watched it cuz Boggs recommended it, fell in love after
Yeah, I
one
mean, this
episode.
show is huge though, because I mean, my whole time here in Japan, there's been promos everywhere, man. Like
Yeah, for this.
between,
Yeah.
yeah, between little things, like being given away at Konbini and stuff like that, to just their giant cutouts in every game center,
Mhm.
figures and all that kind of stuff. They're pushing this heavy right now.
Yeah,
Seen a lot
we
of nerds with badges on their bags and shit
Oh, you
too.
don't
me and
know.
Boom
Me and Boggs
me
seen
and
it
Boom, yeah.
firsthand, man.
We were there during the movie premiere. Like Boom said, we watched the movie, but we went to I think it was like Yokohama on the top floor. They had like a little quintessential quintuplets area. They
Yeah,
had
like a little pop up.
a big theme of it with this show. Mo, just a quick thing. Pretty much the show, like early, that Futaro, the male protagonist, marries one of them. But they're quintuplets, so you don't know who.
Mm.
So yeah, they're all in like wedding dresses, and they have like the cardboard cutouts. But yeah, they're selling a bunch of merch. They even had like cookies. Which
Yeah,
is kind of
yeah,
wild.
at Yokohama, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I remember like it was in Yokohama too, and there was like a cutout of the final scene of the manga,
hmm
and you told me not to look at it, and I looked at
yeah,
it right, and I could honestly, I couldn't tell which one it was. Like now I know
yeah.
obviously, but I was like, I'm so glad I didn't like look into it deep, and you warned me, because if I got that spoiled, man, I would be kind of upset.
But before we move on, yeah, Miku best girl, Nino close
I
second.
I agree. I
You
don't know about
know, I'm,
Ninu, but I do agree
I'm
with
glad this
Miku.
OVA exists. I'm glad this OVA exists.
100%, 100%. Definitely, please watch Mo. Please, please.
We'll
And
see,
I guess
man.
now that we're kind of getting into OVA ONA territory, if we wanted to talk a little bit about Baki Mo.
Here's this is a big cheers, brother.
So
I
Really, really.
absolutely
Oh,
I absolutely blasted through Baki, dude.
I
I
prefer
watched
UFC.
the four Netflix ones. I think I watched it within like a month and a half ish.
I watched
I
the
fell
I
in love with
watched the
this shit,
first
man.
one. The first one, or I don't know. It's kind of like JoJo for me. Like I don't know where to start. Like to be honest with you, I really
Well, there
don't.
is the OG one from like the 90s is the first season, and then
But
the four that are on Netflix is basically season two, three, four,
so
five.
they don't recap it though, right? Like it's not
No, they
like
don't.
they
So,
recall it though. Um,
mhm.
so like they kind of gloss over the results and like the grappler Baki stuff. But honestly, I think your order is fine. Like just go through the Netflix one.
because
There's
I've
no
watched
issues with
the
that.
first one for Netflix, and I've seen Instagram videos of the real life Baki's dad. He's OP for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So you know how OP Hama Yujiro is. Let me just give you like a TLDR of this. This one was separated into two parts. It's like a 24 episodes or something. First 12, 13 episode came out at once. Like a month later, the rest came out, right, Mo? Something like that. Um, but without getting into too much spoilers, the previous season ends with like the question of what happens with like what is the most strongest um creature that a human can verse, like you could think like grizzly bears or whatever. And then at the end of the season, and like a scientific news comes out that there was like a frozen artifact of a human versing a T-Rex. And so like a human from like millions of years ago, which is Pickle, which is the one you see on the screen right now. And yeah, so Pickle was a human who lived during like the Jurassic Triassic era, who was, kind of killing dinosaurs and eating them. And he kind of got like ice fossilized to the current day. And now people want to verse him because, this guy's like out here killing dinosaurs, and these fighters want to see how well their fighting style could compete with him. And Pickle is an absolute beast. Obviously, like Baki in this is an absolute beast.
Mhm.
Mo, do you have anything to add to that? It's kind of like the
Uh,
summary I
to
could give.
to Pickle's point, I mean, like it proved how OP he was because I mean they talked about this and it's kind of like a given, I guess like a one of those hidden rules in martial arts that when you're the bigger guy, you don't use any techniques. And like Pickle was pure brute strength. And then that was kind of like the moment where it's like Baki pushed Pickle to a point because he forced him to use a martial art move. But it just showed how strong Pickle was because he was just brute strength against everybody else
Yeah,
and destroying them.
and
So
there's so much epic scenes in this one too. I know I talked to Mighty about too. Like they're fighting in a like arena, and this one martial artist and like thousands of his, I guess, not disciples but people who follow the same martial art, and his kind of their um the person who's like representing that martial art, and everyone's watching the fight, and some stuff happens without going into too much spoilers.
Hmm.
And then the narrator, it's kind of like Kaiji, where the narrator kind of pops in and like explains what happened, what's happening, or like a post interview kind of thing. And the announcer's talking about how you can look around and literally the whole filled stadium, everybody left, it's empty. But then the narrator actually gets into more details, and it turns out everybody's kind of like on their knees paying tribute for the amazing fight they saw. That's why the stadium looked empty. And not gonna lie, dude, I got chills. I was like, dude, the show's so
so epic.
outrageous but so epic at the same time. There's so much more outrageous scenes in this. Won't get into much detail, but Mo, I'll just say like, Jack versus Pickle, pretty crazy.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that was like the first half of this season, and then the second half focused more on Baki and his dad, which is kind of like the overarching theme of the actual series. It's about Baki and his dad doing the world's most important parent-son fight, and that kind of gets resolved or not. It takes place in the second part of this season, but I mean, I personally enjoyed the pickle part more, and I'll tell you why, Mo. I don't know if you felt the same way. In the second half, I did not give a shit about the boxing thing. Like, you finished the whole thing, right?
Boxing thing. Yeah, yeah, I
With
did
with
finish it, but
with Mitsukayo, he picked up boxing. He beat up
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pacquiao. I was
He
like,
had like a separate arc all on his own
yeah,
for no reason,
yeah,
right?
like I just did not care about Mitsukayo's boxing art, dude.
Made no sense,
Yeah,
man.
I was like, dude, I just want to see Baki and Yujiro just duke it out.
Yeah, it was
That
that
fight was
was a
epic.
little that was a massive filler part for some reason.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was epic though, the one when fighting smoke or something
yeah,
like that, and
yeah.
his brains getting rattled and
He
he learns
counters it.
to yeah, he punches his own head the
Yeah,
perfect
so like,
time to stop his brain.
yeah,
Dude,
so like, how
sounds
like
so
concussions.
masculine, man.
Yeah, like how concussions happen because your brain vibrates inside of your head. So
Yeah.
he kind of hits himself at the right time to counter that vibration and regains his like consciousness.
Too
But yeah,
OP. That definitely deserves an evil apple in the corner, man.
yeah, not gonna spoil all the juicy scenes of this, but that's pretty much how I felt about the show. Always enjoy like the crazy side of Baki. I like the whole pickle arc. Second arc with Baki and Yujiro I liked a lot too, but yeah, like I said, the Retsu doing the boxing thing I didn't care too much about. Um,
I feel like you need a show like this. Like if you're watching,
yeah,
it's a good change
it
of
just
pace, you know?
it is. You just
I might need to
enjoy.
binge it. I might need to binge it.
Dude, you love the USC too. You'll binge it so fast.
I've watched like the first episode, like the first. I don't know if it's the first season or the second season or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Just watch it, man.
yeah.
You'll catch up in no time.
Such an easy watch too. I mean, season. I know Boggs told me this before I started it too. That like you should pay attention a little more in season 2 because they do talk a lot about stuff. But the other seasons are pretty easy watches. So you can just booze and cruise, man. Booze and cruise.
Dude, this uppercut's so OP, man.
I know, dude. Yeah, boom. You gotta watch this, and we'll talk about how
I got
how
you. I got
awesome
you.
the show
We'll
is.
dedicate one episode for Baki, man.
Absolutely.
And then
Yes, sir.
just moving on, folks. Another show I know for sure Mo and me watch. Most likely not Boggs. It's a classy one. This is the gift I chose, Mo. You know why?
Dude, some of them characters, man, were whew,
Some Bleach
crazy.
boobies.
Hmm. Yes, sir. That's one thing, man.
I
Is
would take this. Do you know what the scene
knows
is?
his boobies.
Do you know what the scene is?
This is like when she's like first introduced, right?
Where
And
like
they're like she's getting deployed out to the fight.
so this is actually the scene where she takes a guy back to her room and they do the deed, and then he gets cut in half. I would be glad to be cut in half for this.
Right.
It was.
Right.
Was it worth it?
Always is, man.
It is,
But-
Box. It is. No, but
Yeah, dude.
Bleach was OP, man. I really enjoyed it. Even the last season before this, I really enjoyed it, man. It was
Yeah, I mean,
top
even
tier.
this one picked up a notch from where last season left off. So
And
I
last
was really
season
happy
was like
with that.
good too, man.
Yeah. I'm still like pissed that we still haven't fucking seen Ichigo. It's been 2 whole seasons and this dude is
Like
still
full,
on
full
AFK
force,
training
right?
arc.
Like full force Ichigo, right? We've seen snippets, right?
Yeah. But
We gotta see your boy, evil scientist. You know it.
yeah, dude, evil scientist popped off, man.
Came
Bro
out all
legit turned
gold.
himself into a god.
Dude, I love his character design. So creepy.
Dean when he first pulled up and he's like, "You can't even look at me. I'm shining so hard."
Dude, because I really like his like not sidekick, but like his main assistant. You know, she's so
Mhm.
chill, but she sacrifices her life to whatever he wants her to do. Right, dude, he's OP
Yeah.
in the show. The Bleach season, I had no complaints. It was on par with the previous season, and it was maybe even better in my opinion. Right.
Yeah, I mean the animation, man. They just did a fantastic job with it, making it look absolutely beautiful. Like every time all the Quincy's use their like special powers, you know, like they all looked pretty sick. Like I mean, I guess this gives credit to the original series, you know, mainly, but their character designs are really sick for this like final arc, you know, because everybody
Yeah.
got like a redesign, especially when like Byakuya came back, Denji, all them, like,
Mm-hmm.
and they pull back up, they're revived from getting their ass beat and their bankai stolen.
Even Zenpachi, like I loved his little. He had a little
Yeah,
two
dude,
episode.
forgot about him,
He's
man.
one of my favorite characters too, which I'm glad, you know. And then he even had the fight with, the healing captain, like you know her.
Was that
Was that this
was
season
that this
or last
season?
season? I don't even remember,
That
but it still counts.
that
You know?
oh, dude, I can't even remember now because I
Yeah,
know that was like episode 4, so I think it might have been
yeah.
this season,
It's
but
either early this season or late last season. So
kind of hard to remember because this is one of those that I was watching every week as soon as it aired.
Yep.
So It's hard. It's all really got spread out. But
I'm still shocked too. Like I thought the when they said two, 3 more seasons of Bleach until they finish it, I thought it was gonna be like a super bad couple seasons, you know. So I'm still shocked
mm,
it's this good, you know.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
hopefully the next one's the final one though.
mhm.
It's
I wouldn't even be mad
it's
if it's like a movie, you know, a good movie to end it all.
yeah, yeah. I think they already said it's gonna be a season 3
Oh, okay. Which
or part 3 of this war. So
yeah,
I think that
thousand.
was confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints for me. Absolute gem of a show. Great continuation of the series in general.
Still the L of the top 3, but or the big 3, but great
Uh,
show, great season.
if you count Boruto, then nah.
Boy, that's Boruto.
Shots taken. Shots fired.
Next generation.
but
Actually, I did read the newest chapter, and actually, it was kind of whack. I don't know. It was all right.
time skip.
I
Come
do
on.
not like. I don't like Sarada's new design, dude.
I seen it. I
She
see
looks like
memes
a
about it.
flashy lesbian, dude. It's weird.
I got you. I got you. Just moving off from Bleach, right? Another one. Let me see here. Let me pull this one up. Just want to save the best for last, but Mighty Mo, if you want to talk a little bit about this one.
Oh yeah. So this one was kind of. I purely picked this one based off of this character here, Noir's character design. Um, the show is, I think, it's based off of a game. It's like a sequel to a game that's called Sin Duality. But basically 20 years ago there was like this giant storm that destroyed everything, and I don't even know how that relates, honestly. Uh this main character is what they're like these people called drifters who ride in these mechas who destroy enders, and enders are like kind of the monsters running around the town. And he wasn't a drifter. Every drifter has a magus that helps them pilot the mechas, and he didn't have one for a long time. And then when he was like exploring along with one of his friends, the drifter, he finds her, and then like she was like a blank magus, so she becomes his. But she is what Ray should have been, man. She is a
Dude, she looks
fantastic
like Ray
character, dude.
too, right? Like the
Dude,
hairstyle
she's a straight rip of Ray, but
with the
she's such
blank
a cute
look too.
character, like typical, like she's just so like aloof, so clueless, because like she's blank, like so she doesn't know anything about the human world, like everything. Like there's like one episode where they keep bringing up boobs, and like she says like, Kanata, you've said that 9 times now. What are these? So it's like just little stuff like that. And then the other girl too, it's, I think her name was Ellie, but she's the tsundere of the show, and she's a really cute character too. She's in love with the main character. They're like childhood friends, but she's a good one too. So overall, like this was just a pretty wholesome show for the most part. Didn't care. The story was good, but I just didn't. It was all right, kind of thing. Like knowing it's based off of a game, it was kind of the story itself was very linear. Gets the
Hmm.
Magus, slowly upgraded. Uh, Catastrophe happens, and he saves the day. But it looks like this was like broken up into 2 parts, so it's definitely is gonna have a sequel, and it left on a pretty big cliffhanger.
Hmm.
Um, I guess major spoiler for people who might watch this. Noor, however you say her name,
You
turns
are.
out that like her white-haired version was like a quote-unquote safe mode, and then she like gets turned into black-haired and dark-skinned, and her name is Mystery, and like her personality completely changes. So kind of leaves the show on a pretty big cliffhanger of like, oh shit, like who really is she? We knew that she was kind of a special Magus, but now it's like she might actually be like a super ultra rare Magus. So I'll
Gotcha. That
definitely
sounds
watching
interesting.
this one. Yeah, I did not do it justice in my explanation of it. I'm pretty bad about that. Of getting my synopsis together. But I just really loved her character design. That was the main driver for me.
Gotcha. I mean,
She
she
was a
looks
great
great
character.
too. Better
Even there,
race,
like,
so
yes, yes,
That's
sir.
hard to beat, man.
Boy,
not
don't get me
not not
started
in.
already.
Yeah, let's not go there, but not in Mighty Mo's opinion.
Absolutely. Another show moving on, right? I don't. I personally didn't watch this show. I don't know if any of you guys did. Boggs for sure. It's a sequel, right? Or
Yeah, so this is Horimiya piece. I think it's more kind of like a spin-off. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, I love Horimiya in general. So this is just like a super fun watch. Those of you who have seen Horimiya, uh, it's pretty much the same thing. If you ask me if I like this one better than the previous one, it'd be a hard one. I think I did like the older one a little bit better, but Horimiya has something that is just always comforting to watch. I know I've talked to you guys about this a few times, but um, Horimiya is one of those few romances shows that the relationship is formed really early on in the series, and the actual show is about their daily life as a couple. And Horimiya is one of those that, there's also some romantic uh, interest slash couples in their friend group already, and it's just like their life in high school. And this show is just nothing but pure wholesomeness. It's just such a cute show. Um, Definitely one of like the top tier, more recent romance anime. Uh, Nothing much to add for like newer or like people who've seen the original Horimiya. It's almost like the same thing, but yeah, I mean, every week watching this was super heartwarming. Just in normal Horimiya fashion, I just love these two together. I like their kind of interactions with their friends, and also like how the friends interact with each other. Because, like I said, their friend group, there's also like some couples there. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Horimiya except that
mm-hmm.
it didn't disappoint. It was amazing as expected.
Yeah. Sounds like a must watch. Yeah,
Nice.
do you have to watch the first one? I'm guessing before you watch this, right? For sure.
I mean, there's no like overarching plot, but yeah, definitely watch the first one. Just, I mean, spoiler alert: Horimiya or Miyamura and Hori they date. It happens pretty early. Minor spoiler, but yeah. So I mean, I definitely watch the first one just to see how that happens and how the story, I guess, progresses. But uh, this new season kind of went up until like the graduation and ended it on a good note. I haven't read like the source material or the source material of the source material because I think this one like started as like a webtoon that got upgraded as a manga that got upgraded as an anime or whatever. But
Three.
yeah, yeah, this so yeah, I mean, if you like romance, this is like comfort food. So definitely give it a watch if you guys like romance anime. I know you guys do, so definitely give it a watch. But yeah, I mean it's Horimiya. That's all I got to say about this.
I got you. Got
Mm.
you. The next one is one I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. I didn't watch it, but I've heard really good things, especially online, all the discussion boards too. It is
My
My
Happy
Happy
Marriage.
Marriage. Did you watch this, Mo, or just Boggs?
Just Bugs. I didn't watch this one.
The
So yeah,
animation, just on the GIF alone, looks
yeah,
super
I was
good, man.
trying to find a great gift for this one. I don't know if you guys remember. This is the one I was most excited for,
Mm-hmm.
aside from Mushoku Tensei this season, and it didn't disappoint. And to your point, Boom, like this is one I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this a lot. Um like I have no complaints of it, but I did feel like it was missing something to kind of push it to the greats. Like it was a great anime. I loved watching this, but I feel like there was like something missing that kind of puts it in like the 10 to 9 category, if that makes any sense. Um But on the production side of things, like this was so good. The animation was so like well done. The character design's great. The OST was amazing. But yeah, so this is pretty much like a Cinderella story. You have your main character Mio. She her family. She has her like stepmom, and I guess like a half sister, and the dad who kind of I guess hate her because um because the mom kind of hates her. The half sister, the mom hates her because it's not her daughter, and the half sister kind of has like this. I guess she wants to be like she has like a superiority complex. She's like a real bitch in the show. She's like the mommy of this show. Like everybody hates
Oh.
her. But this is like a supernatural romance. There are like some superpowers into it. In the show, the superpower part was cool and interesting, but I don't think it's what sold me on the show. What sold me on the show is pretty much the whole um, development of the relationship between Mio and Kudo, which is these two on the screen here. But yeah, so she pretty much like the show starts off at her with her like at like her self-esteem is so low because of trauma, pretty much being like abused growing up, and the family hates her despite her romantic interest with another character in the show. The family gives her off to marry this guy who has like a very bad reputation, but it turns out he's a good guy and like makes for a good husband. And I mean, that's pretty much what the big aspect of the show is these two developing uh as fiancés.
Hmm.
And then a lot of side stuff with like all the superpower things happen, which I mean I enjoyed, but like I said, it's not what sold me on the show. It did definitely bring in some drama and some tension in the show, but what really made this show good for me is kind of the whole character development of Mio in particular, going from like a super low self-esteem kind of self-hating girl, and the her fiance Kudo kind of gives her the confidence to um start to like love herself more and kind of know her worth. But yeah, like I don't know. I'm not doing this show justice, but uh yeah, visually super good. Like production wise, I have zero complaints. I guess the only small complaint story wise for me is like I really only cared about these two and maybe the guy's sister. Aside from that, I didn't really care about too much of what was going on outside of these two's relationship building up. Um, that's where I kind of wanted a little bit more of it. But I mean, Mio carried this show entirely for me. I just loved seeing her kind of become a stronger woman throughout the series, and that's what sold me on the show. So, I mean, if you guys still like romance anime, I'd definitely check this out.
Hmm.
It's definitely worth the watch, but um, yeah, I feel like it was just missing a little something for me to kind of hype it up even more. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Sure.
give it a watch. Maybe I'll definitely put it in the plan to watch, but just maybe not a rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you got time someday, definitely watch it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's a must watch, but it was still a great series.
Hmm. And then before we talk about our top threes of this season, we have two more shows left. One, of course, everybody's watched here. We'll probably end off with that one. But the one before that one, I don't know if you guys watched it, but arguably the best show of the season. The wonderful,
Oh,
Oh.
masterful cat is depressed again today. I mean,
did you like this one?
um, let me ask you something, Boggs. What do you see on the screen right now?
A cute sleepy girl taking by a caregiving cat sleep
It's
reward.
it's a sleep
All right,
reward.
that's a good sign.
It was the banger of this season, man. I didn't watch much shows, but this show was so wholesome. All the characters in this show, from her office workers to her boss, character design was so perfect. Like all these characters I absolutely loved. And the way they were animated, they were so top tier. It really, really just made me want to cry watching it, man. It was so beautiful. It's such a wholesome show. The base of the show, she finds a stray cat, and at the time, he was a normal sized cat, but he sees that she really loves him, so he grows big to take care of her because she's really just like her. At first, her house was trash and everything like that. So he's basically the caretaker, from combing her, dressing her for work to making her delicious food. Right? I mean, look at that, scrumptious, man. You just see like the relationship they keep building on, and it's super funny because all the gags and stuff they do, but it was really a top tier show for sure. Highly recommend this show. For
I
me,
wanted to watch this one, but this is like no hate against like Gohans, but they also did the glasses one this season, and I watched like some stuff of like some
hmm
like you guys know I'm not too I'm not too particular about like CGI stuff, but some of the things, at least in my opinion, just kind of looked maybe not this one as much. I saw more of like the bad sides of the glasses show. But I mean, was it bad visually or not really?
no, it was beautiful. Was this
Okay.
CGI? No way.
Uh, I mean, the glasses one definitely was, and it's like done by Gohans too. I feel like
Nah,
I've seen some stuff from this that kind of turned me off, but I
I
mean,
dude,
I'll check
like
it out.
like legit. I don't think anything was CGI in this show.
Okay. I mean, I'll
Uh,
check it out.
I'll bet my
Yeah.
reputation on it. I bet my Mal, all my Mal stuff on it. No, I don't think there's any like CGI in this, man. Beautifully
Okay.
animated. Better check your facts box.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but
Not for real. No, it was really good
awesome.
animation, and
And I mean, this looks slice of lifey.
yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
Yeah.
Like you see office life and her home life, and it's funny because like she hates working, but when she comes home from work, she like obviously the cat makes her food and stuff like that, but she just wants a beer, she just wants to relax, and it's a show you can just put on and just not really think of anything, but it's such a cute and wholesome show. It's just I really really did enjoy this,
I mean, I
100%.
do enjoy this little thing you have up, just like every morning. The cat's pretty much. If it weren't for the cat,
Like,
what would she be
yeah,
doing?
it's hilarious because a spoiler again, like all of her office work coworkers are like, "What changed in the last couple months?" Because she used to be so tired of work. Now she's like the number one worker, and she's always bringing like lunch that obviously the cat makes, but everyone thinks she's like a master chef and stuff like that. Just
The
because like
glow up.
the food that she brings is always gourmet, and you see like some aspects of romance too later on in the series, but not really like a major point. But it's always there in the background, which is nice as well.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's a huge cat, right? Like it's it's nothing like you ever seen before. A huge cat
Yeah.
taking care of a
No.
person.
I
Very
do
very
remember
unique.
you. I do remember you being excited about this before it started airing. You just
hmm
like pretty much kind of wanted to know the backstory behind like a big cat living with like this girl here.
hmm And
But
the
yeah.
character designs once again absolutely fire. But yeah, definitely recommend this show if you haven't watched it already. Moving on, once again, the last show we'll talk about before going to top 10, top 3, sorry.
Mhm.
The one we all watched. Let me pull it up for you guys. It is Mushoku Tensei.
Who
Yes,
wants to go
sir.
first?
I'll go
Really?
last just because I feel like I have a hot take, man.
Mighty, you
I
want me to
like.
take this or yeah, you could
I'll
go.
go. I, I like this season a lot. I mean, I guess to preface, compared to you guys, I watched basically the series all at once.
hmm
I binged it on y'all's recommendation, the first season, in time for the second season. And yeah, I mean, this was Sad Boy Rudy's arc, man. It starts with him, going on a journey to find his mom, but boy's pee-pee don't work ever since Ares broke his heart. And yeah, I mean, it was a fairly quiet arc, especially after he starts the magic school. But I liked it a lot. I didn't mind it whatsoever. It still introduced a lot of great new characters. It was great seeing what's his homie's name, the one that loves his figures.
Oh, the glasses guy, the
Starts with
Yeah, the
a
semi-billionaire.
nerdy
B.
guy.
Yeah, it was great seeing him have a comeback.
I
Still
totally forgot
waiting
about
for
him.
Roxy, but
Yes.
god damn, man.
And what's her name? Elsa? No, Elisa, right? The redhead girl.
Eddie's
Edis? Yeah.
just Eddie's. Yeah. But she's off doing her own thing, so I mean I know we'll see her later on knowing that there's like adult Aries and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's funny because I think I brought this up to Boggs about how I was kind of irritated on this fact of how uh Rudius didn't know Fitz was Shidofi.
No.
And I didn't actually see the episode 0 till he mentioned that. And then I was like, "Oh, wait.
Oh, really?
You're right." And then I realized like, "Wait, she had green hair before." Like I forgot that she even had green hair. Like as soon as I saw her, I knew that was her. Like from the laugh and the ears, like that's Shidofi. But yeah, he was too dense with that shit, man.
But yeah, apparently I'm not sure because I'm not a reader, but apparently in the light novel it was masked a bit more. Um,
Hmm.
like I imagine, like I wonder how quick or slow I would have known it was Shidofi. I mean, I probably would have known immediately. Um, but I
The
guess the
voice is a big
shapes.
giveaway too,
But I mean, she
right?
was introduced as a guy, so maybe like a feminine guy. I don't know. There's a one thing that was really funny about this kind of towards the end of the season. I saw like a funny comment. It's when his Edie was kind of fixed, kind of like Edie was fixed once Rudy finds out that Shirifi was a female. Edie comes back in. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this one a lot. I love this series in general. And despite being a Irisu and Rudy shipper, I still love Shirifi. So I mean, big win for her. And personally, I love the trope of kind of the thing where they kind of reunite with either one or both party not knowing either who or how they were involved in the past. Like an example would be like Nisekoi, something like that. But I mean, I just love the trope of kind of just watching, just waiting for when the great reveal would happen. And the reveal in this was just amazing in the cave where kind of Rudy takes off her sunglasses and for the first time, I guess Fitz calls Rudius Rudy instead of Rudius,
Hmm.
and like Rudy's like, is your name Shirifito or whatever, and super heartwarming moment there. um Big sad that there wasn't any Roxy stuff. I didn't really care too much of like the first half of this. I But I think they did do the whole sad boy Rudy part good with like, I know a lot of people had complaints of it, but I think it was pretty big in kind of giving Rudy the character development of like how much Eris walking out really hurt him. And they kind of bring it up kind of at the very last episode where after, Rudy and Shirifi have their good night. Rudy wakes up and Shirifi's not in bed, and kind of you see Rudy kind of start to think if she left too, and how relieved he was when she comes back in the room. Like I think it is an important part of like the series to kind of show how hurt Rudy was about that whole situation.
Hmm.
Um, some parts I was kind of angry at a lot of the ED part, especially at the end with Shirifi. I was like, okay, this is when it's cured, but then it's not. And then the next episode with like the aphrodisiac, it was cured. But
Mhm.
I mean, I love the characters in this show. Again, the beginning part, I did like him kind of doing his journey with like that new crew and that new blonde girl. I thought she was great too. It was kind of I was having like high stress watching when like Broody was kind of not shit talking, but having guy talk with
Oh yeah,
the other dude,
yeah.
and she like kind of heard the whole thing and slapped him like that. That hurt. That hurt watching because I liked her character a lot too. But I mean, I'm glad Shirifi's happy now. Uh, this kind of reminded me, not reminded me, but I think a fair comparison would be like maybe Vinland Saga season 2, where it's kind of a change of pace,
Hmm.
but I still enjoyed it. I don't know. But yeah, big sad, no Roxy. I'm still super excited for what's to come next. And um, we did
Yeah.
get some bigger plot stuff about the whole what happened the day the teleportation happened with the other
Hmm.
Japanese girl Shizuka. But yeah, I mean, I still love this season. Uh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's all I really have to say.
The, I really love the difference in the tone and emotion too of like the moment between Rudius and Ares felt much more lustful in a way compared to Shufi and Rudius's moment. Like their moment felt much more wholesome in a way. And maybe part of it is because they just went to a black screen, but like you said, like I kind of had like chills in that moment. And it's like finally we have the reveal, and I think they did it in a very good way too. So
I just hope this doesn't e- evolve into like Rudy being like his dad and having, all the waifus. Um, but yeah, big win for Shidofi though. Uh, I like her a lot too, but I mean, I do miss Eris as well. But
mm,
yeah, boom. I know you have some probably disagreeable things to say.
So it is funny how you mentioned Vinland Saga because I was really gonna compare this to Vinland Saga, and the same pace, kind of slow, but I really liked Vinland Saga
Hmm.
this season, dude. I don't know what it was. I just did not like this season of Mushoku Tensei, and I was so I loved this series. First season was so good, right? Maybe that's why I felt like this. Like this season was like kind of let down for me. Like I really didn't like it at all. My favorite part was when he met like the other isekai girl from Japan, right? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
finally, you're on to some more juicy stuff, right? None of this ED problems, or you're still aching. I thought, oh, now it's gonna kick back into the storyline, and then at the end, like they're saying they're getting married or something, right? I was like, this ain't the
I mean,
Mushoku Tensei I know, man. It's not the
I
one I
mean,
fell
like,
in love with.
yeah, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this isn't my favorite season by far, but I still enjoyed it.
I rated this a 6. I rated Last Mushoku Tensei like a 9 or a 10, man. It's
I mean, I
damn.
do definitely agree the other ones are better,
a
but
lot.
like, I don't think this is bad at all. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it. There's some cute scenes too, where like, Rudy kind of sniffs Shidofi's ear and she gets shy. Like,
I
and I
mean,
mean,
even with like Zanobata and the little girl that they adopt, like
yeah,
just the
yeah.
cute wholesome moments, man. Boom, you get the horn today, man.
Nah. The best part was when they reviewed like the Temple of Panny, dude. That was it.
I
Yeah,
think
dude, that was pretty funny too.
I think my favorite part is when Shidofi's talking to like the queen and the other gray rat
Mm-hmm.
about kind of what she wants to do with Rudy, and kind of Shidofi's like lewd side comes out where she
Oh,
talks
like the
about
bath
having
scene.
sex many times
Oh.
and reproducing, having so many kids, like, and the queen is just like looking at her at shock slash disgust. Um, but yeah, no, boom. I do agree to your
I
point
don't
of like
know, man.
it's not the best season,
I was
but I
expecting
mean,
so much. We waited so long, and I was expecting some time, and it was just I don't know.
I didn't hate it at all. I didn't hate it at all. I'll leave it at that.
It wasn't vending machine level, but it was
Okay, now you're going
Now
too
you
far.
disrespect
it
her,
won't
brother.
this dog. It won't this, but it wa- it was
I mean,
eh.
I didn't really care too much of the whole ED thing. When I talk about like Sad Boy Rudy and his like character development, it's more so like in the earlier part of like the earlier episodes when the
There
one
was
guy really
scenes.
hated Rudy, like, you
Oh
know,
the
he was like, why are you always smiling to Rudy? And like they
uh,
nailed like the animation there too. Like his you could see that like Rudy's forcing a smile.
mhm.
Um but yeah, I mean,
There were scenes that were good. Like I like the the other two, like cat slash dog girls, and
oh yeah.
how they knew the other chick from the other season. I'm so bad with names, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Ghislaine.
I like how they knew her, right? I like that, but it was like for me, I definitely watched it weekly, but I was like, man, I could be watching this.
Oh no. Oh god.
I don't know, man. It was a letdown for me. It was a letdown for me.
I mean,
100%.
high expectations. Like even for me, I would say it was like I guess a letdown because I definitely was expecting so much from this. But
Mhm.
I mean, I definitely do get where you're coming from. It's just that I didn't hate it as much or like not love it as much as you did. I still think it was great, but I definitely was hoping for more. But I mean, I'm sure you'll be watching the next
Oh,
season, and
100%, 100%.
let's
And
hope it's
I would guarantee next season's going to be way better than this season. I'd put money on
Yeah,
that.
and maybe that's why it doesn't bother me. Is I know this is part one. There's gonna be a part two. Like
Mhm.
I was completely fine with the pacing. Like it was a lot of storytelling. So
Yeah.
I was okay. Like the only part that felt filler was the part with the dogs, the dog and the when he was like
And
fighting the fighting off all the people that wanted to propose to them and stuff. Like
that
that
was
was the
like
only
two
part that felt
episodes
filler.
too, man. It was like
Yeah, kind of long. But I mean, I had no complaints, and I think that's good considering that I binged all of first season
that's
and then watched
probably
this.
that's probably why the difference between you and Boom, maybe because
Hmm.
like for you, it probably like you can almost categorize it as like one big thing. You know, obviously you know when the season starts and ends and stuff like that, but kind of binging through everything and then that being like appended on to like the big bulk of what you watch versus just getting this new season.
mhm.
Maybe that's why Boom hated it so much. I don't know.
Well,
That's
it's
true.
not like super hate, all right? It's not.
Because
Dislike.
the previous one was what 2 years ago
It
that
was
it aired the previous season. So yeah, I guess to
Yeah,
that point, you guys are waiting a long time for not too much action.
but yeah, I mean, definitely would have liked more action, but it's fine. We'll get ReZero. That'll satiate
Mm.
my hunger for it.
uh,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, Mushoku Tensei let down of the season. Nah, 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 I kid, I kid, I kid. Oh, but yeah, so that's the gist of the 2023 anime recap, right, of summer. Mode.
Could I just add one more real quick? Uh Fate Strange Fake was part of this too. Um it was just pretty much like an OVA. It was like a movie, almost like a hour movie. And this is pretty much kind of leading up to an upcoming anime, like a full season they'll have of Fate Strange Fake. But yeah, this was amazing. Loved seeing like a lot of the characters we love in the Fate series, and I liked how kind of like the um, waiver side of things come in with flat and everything. Then we get Gilgamesh and Kiru, all that. But yeah, this I think it was an OVA, but movie, whatever you want to call it, definitely got me super hyped for the upcoming anime. So just wanted to add that in before we do the top
Nice.
threes.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that one that I should I watch Fate before I watch this, or is this something I could watch standalone? Or
Shoot, which Fate, man? I heard there's so many.
Uh,
oh,
this
this Fate.
probably, yeah, this would probably take. Yeah, I mean, to be quick and to ignore the nuance, at least watch maybe. Definitely watch Fate Zero and Fate UBW probably before this, and then like Stay Night. Um, and then if you really want like the maybe some of the Grand Order stuff and El Malloy stuff, but I'd definitely watch at least Zero and UBW before this at least.
Gotcha,
Just so you,
gotcha.
just so like the Holy Grail War and some of like the bigger picture of the what the Fate franchise is about kind of makes sense. I know like super hardcore Fate fans might be pissed of what I just said, but I mean, yeah, short answer is at least watch Zero and probably UBW.
Alright,
And those are
gotcha.
probably like the best ones. So if you don't like it then don't.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I only watched one Fate, and I think it was a spin-off one. It was the cooking one. That show was actually pretty legit too.
What the hell?
Yeah, slice of life one of
Yeah,
the
it was actually really cool too. The graphics in that show was crazy, animation. But yeah,
yeah, super super excited for when this one comes out.
but yeah. Like I said, we're gonna go into our top three. Mo, do you want to go first? Starting with your
Yeah.
number three of the season.
Um. I mean, I excluded Bleach and Mushoku Tensei since they were sequels. I wanted to just go over new ones that aired and new ones that also finished. So I think my number 3 was Vending Machine Isekai. My number 2 was Sinduality Noir, and my favorite was Tiny Senpai.
Nice.
Dun,
I
dun,
think
dun.
that really goes against Booms.
Dude,
Boom
I
hates
dropped
your top
This
three
is
then.
an anti-boom list right
I,
here,
Yeah,
man.
Boom hates this one.
I dropped two two of your top three. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, I might have to rewatch it. It's in your top three. If you had to choose, do you think My Tiny Senpai is probably the one I should rewatch, opposed to Vending Machine? I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Vending Machine's one of those. It's just if you're really that bored, watch it. It's got some stupid, funny moments, but
I should
yeah, you
rewatch
ain't
it
missing a whole lot.
because like My Annoying Senpai, I watched like literally right before the season started, so maybe that's why I was
Hmm.
like,
You already had your fix.
yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe watching it now, or maybe
yeah.
next season too, when
And
I
this
have
was
time.
like my one romance fill too. I typically don't watch too much romance, especially like rewatching things. Like I was watching Baki and stuff like that. So for me, this was a huge change of pace, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It's definitely cute
Nice.
characters too.
Yeah.
Um, Next up, Boggs. Do you want to give your little spiel, your top three? Uh, I can already guess, dude.
I mean, okay, I'll just do it like Moe's. I guess not including sequels because I probably would have like Mushoku Tensei, Horimiya in it.
Mm.
So I guess for newer series, yeah, that'd be my first place.
Uh-oh.
Uh, Undead Girl Murder Farce would be my first for new series. Second place would be Zom 100, and third place would be My Happy Marriage.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I watched two of those shows, so that's
Approved.
give, give you that classic approval real quick.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
That Apple
if
Boondocks. That's what he looks like. IRL.
if we're not including sequels, dude, literally, it goes for me. I only have top two. Didn't watch that many shows. Drop more than I watch. It goes Zom and Cat Girl. Of course, I would put Bleach up there, top three. But if we're not doing sequels, right, I wouldn't. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree.
Or even Quince, because for me I really enjoyed
Yeah,
the series.
yeah,
Like realistically, then
Yeah.
maybe that would replace Bleach in top three.
yeah.
Like the sequels are almost unfair to include, especially I watched so many I didn't need to include the sequels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
feel
we
like
pretty much talked about
if you're
it.
watching
So
a sequel, you obviously love the first season, right? Or something's making you
yeah,
watch the next couple
so you
seasons.
already know. Actually, I don't know, man. I'm watching Shield Hero this upcoming season, and I don't know how I feel about that series. I mean, I did watch Rent a Girlfriend too, but
Uh,
I've good hopes for Shield Hero, and I didn't really talk about it much because um I think I only watched like the first 2 episodes of it that was airing right now, which is Link Click season 2. Enjoy the first 2 episodes. Definitely do need to catch up now that the season's over. But I mean, I'll talk to you guys about it once I'm done with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we could all agree it wasn't like the best anime season, but it was.
I think Mo hit it on the spot in the very beginning. It's mid. It was just mid.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
but
I feel
next
like
season, we'll talk
yeah.
about it more, but that's it. I think we got some bangers coming up.
I feel like looking at the season beforehand, I thought it would be a lot better than what it actually was. You know.
Because you saw Michelle
Yeah.
Tensei's. It's all right.
Gosh.
We got a few good seasons coming up, so
Yeah.
can look forward to that. I
Yeah.
know Beam's excited for the upcoming Mashal in like a few months.
Oh, can't wait. I just can't wait. Hopefully it's not
Tok-
a biggest letdown in Mushoku Tensei, man.
We got Tokyo Revengers, which I
Uh
probably will not
oh.
be watching.
You will, but yes, it's fire. Uh,
I'm gonna have to check it out just because I'm too deep into it, man. I
that a
have
boy.
to. This is my rent a girlfriend.
It's
Oh
your
man, I hate that
one
series.
dirty pleasure, baby. That's what it is. Tokyo
It is
Revengers.
just it's a dirty pleasure without the pleasure.
Bro.
If it gets to the point in the manga where I'm thinking, you're gonna want to watch it a little bit more.
You said that about season 2, man, and it
I,
was
I
ass.
I didn't watch season 2, so I couldn't tell where it was. But put some trust on
Man,
it. Put some trust on
the last chance you get. But yeah, I guess
Fair enough. Fair
the
enough.
summer 2023.
Yes, sir. Other than
Sir.
that, any last things you guys want to say, or bouncing out?
Well,
No, I got nothing to add.
All right.
yeah.
Thanks for listening. Stay frosty.
See you
Peace.
guys.